The Aegis Dominator slipped silently through the darkness of the uncharted Sector 9 Gamma. Its powerful sensors swept the eerie ruins below, searching for any sign of Echo Team or the mysterious enemy they had encountered. Captain Ilara Voss paced the bridge, her mind heavy with questions no one had answers for. Lieutenant Kale broke the silence. "We've sent repeated transmissions to the shuttle's last known coordinates. No response. Scans show no life signs, no ships, no activity." Ilara clenched her jaw. "No wreckage, no bodies? How does a trained scout team vanish without a trace?" "Unknown," Kale admitted. "Our drones detected brief energy bursts consistent with combat, but no debris or heat signatures after that. It's like they evaporated." The room felt colder. The silence was broken only by the hum of the ship's systems. Suddenly, the communications officer's console beeped sharply. "Incoming transmission. Weak and unstable. Source, within the ruins." Ilara leaned forward. "Patch it. Through." Static crackled, and then a frantic voice burst forth, distorted, terrified, but unmistakably human. "This is Lieutenant Aaron Callis, Echo Team Scout. If anyone hears this, stay away. They're not like us. They hunt in shadows. Weapons don't work. We're pinned down in the eastern catacombs. Request immediate extraction. Repeat, extraction urgent." The transmission faded, replaced by heavy breathing and distant crashing sounds. Then silence. Ilara's heart pounded. "Is there any chance they're still alive?" Kyle's fingers flew over the controls. "Possible, but their location is deep within unstable ruins. We can't risk a large rescue party without knowing what we face." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a stealth retrieval mission. Send in a specialized unit with biosuits and non-lethal weapons. I want every advantage." Hours later, the retrieval shuttle Ghost Hawk touched down on the planet's cracked surface. Commander Lyra Dane led the elite squad, her reputation for calm under pressure unmatched. The team slipped through the ruins, shadows among shadows, their senses alert for any sign of movement. Their comm channels crackled with the faintest sounds, a whisper of footsteps, a rustling wind, but no direct contact. The ruins seemed almost alive, pulsing faintly with an alien bioluminescence that sent chills through the squad. "Stay sharp," Lyra ordered. Echo Team's last transmission placed them near the catacombs. "Move carefully." The squad descended. Into the ancient tunnels, the walls lined with strange glyphs that glowed softly. Suddenly a whisper echoed. A voice, human but distorted. "Help. Please." The team froze. Lyra signaled forward cautiously. A figure darted from the shadows. A young scout, gaunt and wild-eyed. "They took the others," he gasped. "The shadows. They're alive. They can slip through walls, disappear in midair. They're not just enemies, they're predators." Lyra lowered her weapon. "Who took you? What do they want?" The scout shivered. "They want to reclaim something, their legacy. They say the Empire is a lie, a cage. They say we're weak." Before she could press further, a sudden rush of movement swept through the tunnel. Figures emerged. Tall, lithe warriors, clad in living armor that shimmered and shifted like liquid metal. Their eyes glowed faintly with an inner light. Lyra's squad opened fire, but their plasma bolts splashed harmlessly off the bioarmor. The warriors moved faster than the eye could track, striking with lethal precision. One by one, the retrieval team was overwhelmed, forced into a desperate retreat. Back aboard the Aegis Dominator, the bridge crew watched the shuttle's last transmission in horror. The images were grainy, but undeniable. A battle that defied all known tactics, soldiers falling without a chance, and those terrifying warriors, human in shape but alien in power. Ilara gritted her teeth. "These aren't rebels, they're something else entirely. We've stumbled into a war we don't understand." Kale's voice was grim. "Their bioarmor adapts to our weapons. Our scans show their metabolism and neural patterns are unlike anything in our database. They're not just evolved, they're engineered by nature itself." "Where did they come from?" Ilara whispered. "We don't know," Kyle said. "But if their claims are true, they're descendants of an ancient human lineage cut off and hidden for centuries, A murmur spread through the command crew. The idea was almost unthinkable. Humanity, fractured and hidden, evolving apart from the Empire's reach. The thought sparked both fascination and fear. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the ruins, the true humans gathered. Commander Kalen, the leader of the Shadow Warriors, observed the Aegis Dominator's signals from a bio-organic interface embedded in his arm. "Our hunters have struck true," he said, voice calm but resolute. "The Empire believes they face rebellion, but they do not see us, do not understand us. This is only the beginning." A young warrior stepped forward, her eyes shining with fierce pride. "They underestimate what it means to be human." Kalen nodded. "They will learn. The Empire's strength is in their machines and their arrogance. But we are evolution made flesh, the true army of humanity, awakened at last." As the Aegis Dominator prepared its next move, Ilara realized the Empire's certainty had been shattered. The galaxy was no longer a place of simple conquest. A new force had emerged, one that moved in shadows, lived in the forgotten corners of history, and wielded power beyond any technology the Empire possessed. The war for humanity's future had begun, and it would shake the Galactic Empire to its core. The Aegis Dominator loomed over the shattered surface of the ancient planet like a colossus, its massive engines humming with suppressed power. Captain Ilara Voss stared at the tactical display, watching the movements of the Empire's strike fleet below as they prepared to engage the enemy forces unlike any she had ever faced. Reports had come in from the few surviving scouts, ghost-like warriors who seemed to vanish and reappear at will, moving faster than sensors could track. Their weapons were strange, bio-organic blades that shimmered in and out of existence, and every Imperial volley fizzled uselessly against their shifting armor. The Empire's technology was suddenly obsolete. Ilara clenched her fists. "Deploy. The ground assault teams. We will not be driven back by shadows." Lieutenant Kale hesitated, then nodded grimly. "Ground teams deploying in T-2 minutes." Below the battleground was a fractured cityscape, ancient ruins fused with new Imperial installations. The strike teams advanced, bolstered by heavy armor suits and drone support. Soldiers moved cautiously, eyes scanning every shadow, every crack in the walls. But the shadows moved first. From the darkness, figures erupted, swift, silent, and lethal. The true humans struck with precision, vanishing before counterattacks could connect. Imperial troops found their weapons useless. Plasma rounds passed harmlessly through bio-armor that shimmered and shifted like living liquid. One soldier, Private Tarek, screamed as a blade sliced through his armor, yet no blood spilled, only a strange energy that seemed to drain his strength. "They're not human," he gasped before collapsing. Ilara watched from orbit as the battle unfolded in real time. The strike teams were being shredded. Entire squads were wiped out within minutes, with no clear enemy commander to target, no formation to flank. "Focus. Fire on clusters," she ordered. "Don't let them isolate our units." But the true humans didn't fight like an army, they fought like predators. They used the environment, the ruins themselves, as weapons. Walls collapsed on advancing squads. Ghostly warriors emerged from beneath rubble, striking from below. Every advance the Empire made was met with devastating counterattacks. Suddenly, a tactical alert blinked red. A small Imperial outpost reported that their communication arrays were offline. "Sabotage," Kyle said. "Our enemy is cutting our lines of command." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Deploy countermeasures, we cannot afford to lose control." But more troubling was a report from the reconnaissance drones. "Commander," Kyle said, eyes glued to the screen. "Our scanners show strange energy signatures converging beneath the city ruins. It's unlike any known technology." Ilara frowned. "Could it be their base?" Kale nodded. "Possibly a neural nexus, something that coordinates their attacks, maybe even links their warriors mentally." The thought sent a chill down Ilara's spine. If their enemy's advantage was not just physical but psychic, then the Empire faced an unprecedented challenge. Back on the planet's surface, Commander Kalen moved through the battlefield with calm assurance. His armor flowed like liquid shadow, absorbing blows and regenerating instantly. Every motion was deliberate, every strike precise. He watched the Imperial soldiers fall like wheat before a scythe and knew the real test had yet to come. "Hold the line," Kalen commanded through a telepathic link shared by his warriors. "Draw them in. Let them believe they can break us." A young warrior at his side frowned. "But Commander, their numbers overwhelm us." Kalen's eyes glowed softly. "Numbers are meaningless without will. We fight not just for survival but for the truth of humanity. The Empire's steel cages will fall." The battle raged for hours. The Aegis Dominator deployed reinforcements, but each landing zone became a kill zone. Imperial commanders began to doubt their once invincible tactics. On the bridge, Ilara's voice was steady, but strained. "We need a new strategy. Direct assaults are failing." Kyle's fingers flew across the controls. "I recommend deploying electronic warfare to disrupt their neural nexus." "Do it," Ilara ordered. A pulse of electromagnetic energy washed over the ruins, briefly silencing the ghost warriors. Imperial troops surged forward, pushing back the shadows for the first time. But the advantage was fleeting. The true humans adapted rapidly, their armor and weapons shifting to absorb the new threat. From the depths of the ruins, a powerful psychic wave exploded outward, throwing Imperial soldiers into chaos. Communications faltered, sensors blinded. "Fall back! Fall back!" Ilara commanded, her heart pounding. As Imperial forces retreated to their ships, the battlefield fell silent once more, except for the faint hum of the ruins and the distant pulse of the Aegis Dominator's engines. Ilara stared at the tactical feed, the scale of their failure etched into every loss. "Report casualties," she said quietly. Kyle's face was grim. 50% losses, entire units wiped out, and no sign of a conventional enemy force. Ilara swallowed hard. The Galactic Empire's arrogance had been shattered in hours. "We're facing a war unlike any other," she said. "A war against ghosts, against humanity's own forgotten future." The true humans had shown their strength, but the Empire's greatest challenge was only beginning. The stars burned cold and distant beyond the viewport of the Imperial flagship Aegis Dominator. Within the ship's command deck, Captain Ilara Voss stood rigid, her eyes locked on the live feed of the battle below. The Empire's forces swept across the mining colony of Tarsus IV like a tidal wave, crushing resistance with brutal efficiency. Explosions lit the dark surface as mechanized infantry advanced, supported by orbital bombardments that reduced rebel fortifications to ash. Ilara felt a surge of pride. The Galactic Empire's grip was ironclad. No rebellion had lasted more than a few weeks under their rule. The Emperor's vision of a unified galaxy was coming to fruition, one system at a time. "Status report," she demanded. Lieutenant Kale, her tactical officer, glanced up from his console. "Rebel forces are breaking apart. Enemy commander confirmed KIA. Our ground troops are securing the last outposts. Casualties minimal." Ilara allowed herself a rare smile. "Good. Prepare the occupation protocols. We'll begin infrastructure repair within 24 hours. Suddenly an alert sounded, a sharp, insistent tone that cut through the triumphant calm. "Incoming transmission," Kale announced, eyes narrowing. "Unidentified signal detected. Origin unknown. Appears to be a distress call." Ilara's brow furrowed. "Patch it through." Static crackled before a distorted voice broke through, desperate and fragmented. "This is Scout Team Echo. We've encountered something. Not like any enemy before, they move like shadows and weapons don't penetrate. Sending coordinates." "Repeat sending coordinates." Then silence. The bridge fell into a stunned hush. Ilara's hand hovered over the comm panel. "Echo. Team, respond." No answer. Kale's fingers danced over his console, trying to triangulate the source. "Coordinates are from an uncharted system near the outer rim, Sector 9 Gamma. Unknown star cluster. No previous surveys exist." Ilara's mind raced. The Empire's explorers had mapped vast swaths of space. An uncharted system was rare, but not impossible. Prepare a probe drone, she ordered. Scan the area thoroughly. As the Aegis, Dominator shifted course toward the mysterious sector, the bridge crew worked swiftly. The tension was palpable, not from fear but from the weight of the unknown. The probe's cameras revealed a haunting sight, a dead star surrounded by shattered worlds and ancient ruins, glowing faintly with alien energy. The relics bore markings, not found in any Imperial archive. The scan showed no life forms, only echoes of something that had vanished long ago. Elara stared, intrigued despite herself. What could have happened here? Kale shook his head. It looks like a civilization wiped out centuries ago. Nothing to worry about, except maybe salvage. But the unexplored star system was a ticking question mark. Elara felt a strange chill. The Empire had dominated countless species, but sometimes the forgotten corners of the galaxy held secrets that defied understanding. Set a course, Elara said. We're sending a scout team. Find out what happened. 2 days later, Echo, team departed in a stealth shuttle. Led by Commander Jax Doran, they were the Empire's best, highly trained, heavily armed, and equipped with the latest gear. The mission was simple. Investigate ruins, recover data, and report back. For a time, everything went according to plan. Drones mapped structures, scanners detected strange biosignatures but no hostiles. The team sent routine reports filled with curiosity and minor excitement. Then it began. From the shadows of the ruins, something watched. At first, it was just a flicker on the sensor, too quick to identify. Then members of the team reported shadows moving against the light, footsteps where none should be. Doran dismissed it as nerves. But when one scout vanished in mid-transmission, replaced by a scream and static, the remaining team's fear grew. Contact. Contact, came Doran's voice in a frantic final message. They're not human, they're fast. No response to weapons. Pulling back. Repeat. Pulling back. And then nothing. The Aegis Dominator's communications officer replayed the transmissions, each word dripping with desperation. Ilara's heart pounded. What do we know? She asked Kale. Nothing but their last coordinates. The shuttle's hull was found drifting. Empty. No signs of struggle or bodies. Ilara's jaw tightened. The Empire was unaccustomed to losing troops without a fight, and never to an unknown enemy. This changes everything, she whispered. Back on the bridge, the Supreme Commander's voice came over the comm, cold and resolute. The Galactic Empire has ruled for a millennium through strength and order, the commander declared. We face threats that think they can defy us in the dark corners of space. We will illuminate those shadows and crush them. No unknown will ever threaten the Empire's peace. Elara clenched her fists, knowing the battle ahead was unlike any before. The Empire's pride was their strength, and potentially their greatest weakness, because the shadows lurking in that forgotten star system were not merely enemies. They were something far more dangerous, the true army of humanity, unseen, unbroken, and awakening. The Empire's war room was a fortress of cold steel and blinking consoles, but the atmosphere was anything but calm. Captain Elara Voss stood before the towering holographic display, where the face of a prisoner flickered in the dim light. A figure unlike any enemy she'd ever faced. The prisoner was a warrior, but his features held something hauntingly familiar. Human, yes, but marked by an intensity that seemed almost alien. His eyes glowed faintly, a soft amber light pulsing beneath skin that shimmered as if alive. The interrogation officer, Lieutenant Kale, stepped forward. Commander Kalen, he said, voice steady despite the tension. You are part of the enemy force attacking Imperial positions. We want to understand who you are and why you fight. Kalen's voice was calm, almost regal. You call us enemy, but we are your blood, your forgotten kin. We are the true humans. Murmurs rippled through the gathered officers. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Explain. Kalen nodded once. Long ago, humanity spread across the stars, but not all of us traveled the same path. Some were left behind, isolated on worlds cut off by time and war. There we evolved. We adapted, not with machines but with our bodies and minds. We became something more than what you see. He gestured to his living armor, a seamless bioorganic shell that responded to his thoughts and environment. We rejected the Empire's metal cages and artificial intelligence. We embraced the living technology within ourselves, melding biology with evolution's gift. We are stronger, faster, and more connected to the universe than any machine. The room was silent, officers exchanging uneasy glances. The implications were staggering. Ilara broke the silence. Why attack us? Why reveal yourselves now? Kalen's eyes burned with conviction. Because your empire suffocates humanity's true potential. Your machines strip away freedom and spirit. We fight to reclaim our heritage and to remind the galaxy what it means to be human. Lieutenant Kale's voice was skeptical. You speak of heritage, yet you hide in shadows, attacking without warning. That is not honor. Kalen smiled faintly. Honor is survival, and survival requires adaptation. You rely on steel and firepower, but your arrogance blinds you. We are the next step in human evolution. Accept it, or be left behind. As the interrogation continued, Ilara's mind raced. The Empire's centuries of dominance were suddenly fragile. The enemy was no alien horde but humanity itself. Forgotten branches evolved beyond imperial control. Her heart battled between duty and disbelief. What do you want from us? She asked. Peace, Kalen said simply. A chance to coexist. To teach the galaxy that humanity is not a single shape or thought. But if you refuse, we will fight. Until freedom is reclaimed. Ilara's voice was firm. The Empire does not negotiate with rebels or unknown threats. If you seek peace, prove it. Kalen inclined his head. We will. Meanwhile, far from the interrogation chamber, Echo Team's lone survivor, Lieutenant Erin Callis, sat in a medical bay recovering. Her eyes were haunted but sharp. She spoke to Ilara privately. They're not just soldiers, they're something else. Their reflexes, their connection to each other. It's like they share one mind. Ilara asked, How do you fight something like that? Aaron shuddered. You don't. You survive until you can learn how. Her words weighed heavily on Ilara. The Empire's traditional warfare was obsolete against an enemy who could read movement before it happened, adapt instantly, and vanish into thin air. Back in the shadowed ruins, Kalen addressed his warriors. Our enemy clings to the past, their machines, their control. But we are the future. We must awaken others, unite the scattered true humans, and show the galaxy that humanity's strength lies in evolution, not domination. A fierce fire burned in their eyes, not just for war, but for rebirth. That night, Ilara stood alone on the Aegis Dominator's observation deck, staring into the blackness of space. The stars seemed distant, colder somehow. She whispered, The Empire thought it ruled the future, but the future is alive. It's human, and it's coming. The cold metal walls of the Aegis Dominator's interrogation chamber hummed softly as Captain Ilara Voss paced back and forth. The truth Commander Kalen had revealed weighed heavily on her. An unsettling history of humanity fragmented and scattered across the stars, some branches lost to time and evolution. But the Empire was built on order, control, and unity under one banner. How could she reconcile that with this new reality? Her thoughts were interrupted by Lieutenant Kale, who entered the chamber carrying a datapad. Captain, I've been reviewing the Empire's archives, cross-referencing with what Kalen said about the true humans. There are some inconsistencies in our records. Ilara stopped, intrigued. Go on. Kale tapped the datapad, bringing up star charts and classified reports. Several decades ago, before the Empire solidified its grip, there were rumors of colonists lost to warp storms near the Sector 9 Gamma cluster, the very system we just engaged. Official records declared them dead or assimilated by the Empire, but data recovered from old probes shows signs of unknown civilizations, far more advanced than we thought. Ilara frowned. So the Empire's history books aren't entirely accurate. Not at all, Kale said grimly. It seems we may have deliberately erased evidence of those lost colonies. Records show expeditions sent to silence survivors or cover up strange phenomena, Ilara's jaw tightened. Cover-ups. Lies. If that's true, it means the Empire's foundation rests on shadows and deceit. Meanwhile, deep within the ruins, on the surface, Commander Kalen stood in a vast chamber filled with ancient alien technology, interwoven with bioorganic material. He reached out and touched a glowing console, activating a holographic map of the galaxy. "This is where it began," he said softly to his second-in-command, a fierce woman named Thera. "Our ancestors were stranded here, betrayed by their own." Thera's eyes burned with righteous fury. "The Empire turned its back on them, left them to die in isolation." Kalen nodded. "But in isolation, we grew strong. We adapted and survived, beyond their comprehension." He tapped the console, highlighting clusters of planets hidden from Imperial maps. "We must awaken them. They must join us if we are to stand a chance." Back on the Aegis Dominator, Ilara stared at the datapad, a fire growing in her eyes. The Empire's claim of unbroken dominion was a lie, built on fear and forgetting. Now the Forgotten had returned, armed not just with weapons, but with truth. She knew her next move would be pivotal. Could the Empire survive this revelation? Could she survive? A voice interrupted her thoughts. "Captain." Ilara turned to see Commander Jax Doran, newly returned from a reconnaissance mission. "We've recovered more intel from the ruins," he said, handing her a data chip. "There's something you need to see." Ilara inserted the chip into the terminal. Images flooded the screen. Artifacts of a lost human civilization far older than the Empire. Strange symbols and writing suggested a shared ancestry with the true humans, but with a mysterious divergence. One image showed a massive starship, half machine, half organic, buried beneath layers of rock. Another depicted a message carved into an ancient wall. "To the children of the stars, remember your roots or be consumed by the void." Ilara's breath caught. This isn't just about rebellion or survival. It's a legacy, a warning. In the depths of the Empire, rumors began to spread. Some whispered of a hidden army, others of a forgotten prophecy. The galaxy's fate hung on a knife's edge, balanced between the old order and the new dawn. Ilara convened a private meeting with her closest advisors. "We face more than an enemy," she said. "We face a reckoning. The true humans are not just a threat, they are a mirror held up to our failure." One advisor, General Varn, scoffed. "We will crush them. The Empire has never lost." Ilara met his gaze. "If we fight blindly, we will lose. We need to understand them, to find a way to coexist or face extinction." Her words were met with silence, but the seed had been planted. Far from the halls of power, in the ruins beneath the twin moons of the planet, Kalen and his warriors prepared for the next phase. "Our time is coming," Kalen told his people. "The galaxy will learn that humanity is not one race but many, and the Empire's grip will shatter beneath our united strength." Thera smiled. "They fear the future because they do not understand it. Let us be their lesson." The stars above flickered, a silent promise of war, evolution, and a destiny rewritten. The air inside the Aegis Dominator was heavy with tension. Captain Ilara Voss stood silently by the viewport, gazing out into the void. The stars, once symbols of infinite dominion, now seemed distant and indifferent. Her mind raced, haunted by the truths uncovered, truths that shattered the Empire's foundation. Behind her, Lieutenant Kale entered, his expression grim but resolute. "Captain," he said, voice low. "We've decrypted more of the ancient transmissions recovered from the ruins." Ilara turned sharply. "What have we found?" Kale handed her a datapad. "Their coordinates, hidden star systems beyond known space, sanctuaries for the true humans and possibly other lost descendants of humanity. But there's more. Encrypted messages describing a convergence, a gathering of these enclaves for a purpose greater than rebellion." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "A unification?" "Yes," Kyle confirmed. "And their technology is advancing rapidly. Their bioorganic technology grows stronger with every cycle. They are awakening a power long dormant. Alara's mind flashed to Kalen's words. The true humans as the next step in human evolution. Was this awakening a birth of something new? Or a herald of the Empire's fall, deep within one of those hidden sanctuaries? Far beyond Imperial, Chart's Commander Kalen stood before a vast chamber pulsing with energy. Around him, dozens of true humans, warriors, scientists, and mystics, prepared for a ritual unseen by the galaxy for centuries. This is the moment, Kalen declared, his voice echoing through the hall. The convergence will awaken our full potential and grant us the strength to end the Empire's reign. A figure stepped forward, a woman with eyes like molten gold. The ritual is ancient, passed down through generations, she said softly. It will bond us not only physically but mentally, creating a collective consciousness unmatched in the galaxy. Kalen nodded. Our ancestors survived isolation through unity. Now, we will prove that unity is our greatest weapon. As the Antaya ceremony began, beams of light intertwined with bioorganic tendrils, enveloping the true humans in a cocoon of radiant energy. Their bodies shimmered, muscles and nerves merging with living technology. A low hum filled the air, a resonance that vibrated through the very fabric of the sanctuary. Back on the Aegis Dominator, Alara convened a council of her most trusted officers. The ship's war room was crowded, every face etched with uncertainty. We cannot fight this war with weapons alone, Alara said. Our enemy evolves with every encounter. We must adapt. Kale stepped forward. I've been working on a project, experimental neural interface technology. If we can link our soldiers' minds, even partially, we might counter the true, human's collective consciousness. Skepticism rippled through the room. But the risks, one officer began. Alara cut him off. We have no choice. If we don't evolve, we will become relics of a forgotten past. Preparations began immediately. Volunteers were selected for the neural interface trial, a risky, untested technology that could either elevate humanity's defenses or destroy the minds of those connected. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Erin Callis trained relentlessly in the ship's combat simulators. Her memories of the ruins' horrors fueled her determination. One day, during a simulation, her neural link interface unexpectedly activated, not from the machine, but from within her own mind. She saw flashes of images, the true human's ritual, their shared consciousness, and Kalen's face calm but resolute. Startled, Erin reported the experience to Alara. This connection, it's stronger than we thought, Erin said. Somehow they're reaching out to us. Alara's gaze hardened. Then we must be ready. This war will not be fought on battlefields alone, but in minds and souls. Days later, the Aegis Dominator launched a daring operation into one of the hidden sanctuaries. Ground teams equipped with the neural interface technology descended into the dense alien jungles surrounding the true human stronghold. Commander Jax Doran led the assault, his squad moving cautiously through the alien flora that pulsed with life. Suddenly, an overwhelming psychic wave crashed through their linked minds, visions of ancient Earth, forgotten promises, and warnings of a future carved by choices yet to be made. Jax staggered but steadied himself. We're connected, he reported. Their minds, they're sharing with us. The assault faltered as soldiers grappled with the flood of emotions and memories. Some panicked, others embraced the connection, finding strength in shared resolve. Jax realized then that the war was no longer about territory or resources. It was a struggle for humanity's identity. Back aboard the Aegis Dominator, Alara received word that Kalen's ritual had succeeded. The true humans had become a unified force, stronger and more dangerous than ever. She stood before her crew, her voice steady despite the storm inside. This is the moment we've feared and prepared for. The Empire's fate rests on our ability to evolve, to fight not just with weapons but with our minds and hearts. Her eyes scanned the room, meeting the gaze of every soldier, every officer. We are humanity's shield. And no shadow, no matter how dark or ancient, will extinguish our light. Far away under the converged light of twin suns, the true humans stood united, a new army forged by evolution and will. Their time had come, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Aegis Dominator shuddered as it dropped out of warp into the dense nebula that cloaked the true humans' newly awakened stronghold. Outside the viewport, swirling clouds of iridescent gases painted a cosmic storm, a fitting battleground for the galaxy's most consequential clash. Captain Alara Voss stood rigid at the command console, her eyes scanning tactical displays flooded with sensor data. The true humans' collective consciousness now manifested as coordinated fleets and ground forces, their every move synchronized with unnerving precision. Enemy fleets detected, Lieutenant Kale announced, voice tense but steady. Their bioorganic ships are faster and more adaptable than anything in Imperial records. They're ready for war. Alara swallowed hard, but refused to show doubt. All units, battle stations, prepare for full engagement. We cannot let them gain any more ground. Thousands of kilometers below, on the surface of the fortress planet, Commander Kalen surveyed the approaching Imperial armada from the command post, embedded in crystalline ruins. Today, the Empire faces not just soldiers, but a new humanity, Kalen said, his voice calm but fierce. Our unity is our strength. We will break their chains and show them the future. His warriors, linked by the neural bond from the awakening ritual, moved as one, anticipation rippling through their shared consciousness. The battle erupted. With a storm of energy and fury, Imperial plasma cannons lit the void, carving bright scars through the nebula's swirling mists. The true humans responded in kind, their ships shifting form mid-flight, absorbing damage, and retaliating with weapons that twisted energy into living tendrils, ensnaring and disabling Imperial vessels. On board the Aegis Dominator, alarms blared. As ships were torn apart, crew members thrown against bulkheads. Ilara's voice cut through the chaos. Focus fire on their command ship. Without it, their coordination will crumble. Lieutenant Kyle coordinated the fleet's counterattack, his fingers flying across the controls. Deploy the neural disruptors. We need to sever their psychic link. The neural disruptors hummed to life, sending pulses through the battlefield meant to scramble the true humans' shared consciousness. For a moment, the tide seemed to turn. True human ships faltered, their unity broken, but the bond was stronger than anticipated. From the depths of the enemy fleet, a surge of psychic energy erupted, crashing back into the disruptors and shattering them. The true humans' connection grew even more potent, their ships weaving through the Imperial lines like a single living organism. Alara's heart pounded. They're evolving in real time. They're learning from us faster than we can respond. Meanwhile, on the surface, ground forces clashed in brutal combat. Imperial soldiers faced warriors whose bioorganic armor shifted and hardened instantly, blades phasing through conventional defenses. The neural link allowed the true humans to anticipate every move, every strike. Lieutenant Aaron Callis, now a veteran of the brutal conflict, rallied her squad. We need to disrupt their link on the ground. Target their nexus node. It's the source of their collective mind. Her squad fought through twisting corridors of crystalline structures, every step met with lethal precision, but Aaron pressed on, driven by desperation and the memory of fallen comrades. As the surface battle raged, Ilara made a bold decision. Prepare a boarding party. We're taking the fight to their command ship. If we can capture or destroy it, we may break their unity. The boarding party was a mix of elite soldiers and neural interface specialists, volunteers who understood the risks of entering the enemy's psychic network. Ilara led the charge herself, descending into the heart of the battle aboard a small assault shuttle. The journey was harrowing. Enemy fighters swarmed, and debris from shattered ships peppered the hull. When they finally docked with the true humans' command ship, a living fortress of biometallic sinews and glowing veins, the boarding party was plunged into a surreal, almost alien environment, walls pulsing with life, whispers of the collective consciousness brushing against their minds. Inside, Ilara and her team moved carefully, fighting off warriors who attacked with lethal grace. The neural interface specialist tried to jam the psychic signals, but the network fought back, attempting to infiltrate their minds with visions and fears. One of the specialists, Cadet Rin, collapsed, overwhelmed by a psychic assault. Aaron caught her, whispering, "Stay with me. Fight it." Ilara pressed forward, reaching the Nexus core, a glowing orb suspended in a web of living energy. She raised her plasma rifle, ready to destroy it, but Kalen appeared calm and resolute. "You cannot understand what you are destroying," he said. "This Nexus is the heart of our people, the future of humanity." Ilara's finger tightened on the trigger. "The future won't be forged through chains and lies." Kalen's eyes softened. "Then show me a future worthy of us all." The battle in that living heart was about to decide the fate of two humanities, and the galaxy itself. Ilara's plasma rifle burned hot in her hands, the glowing orb of the Nexus core pulsating with vibrant life before her. Around them, the bioorganic walls throbbed with a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, syncing with the collective consciousness. Kalen had called the future of humanity. Her eyes locked with Kalen's. There was no hatred in his gaze, only a solemn hope, a plea for understanding. "The Empire's way is destruction," Ilara said quietly. "But this isn't just war. It's a chance to rewrite everything. Tell me, what is your vision?" Kalen stepped closer, the glow of the Nexus casting long shadows across his determined face. "A humanity united not by iron and code, but by life itself. A society where mind and body evolve together, free from machines and tyranny. Where the true potential of our species can flourish." Ilara hesitated. The war had claimed so many lives, both sides steeped in loss and fear. Yet before her stood a chance to end the bloodshed with a new beginning. She lowered her weapon. "Then let us find a way to build that future," she said. Behind them, the boarding party cautiously stood down, weapons still raised, but tension easing. The psychic grip that had seized Cadet Rin and others began to loosen, replaced by a fragile calm. Kalen approached the Nexus core and gently touched the glowing orb. The pulse slowed, and a warm light spread throughout the chamber, washing over the warriors and the Imperial soldiers alike. "This Nexus is more than a weapon," Kalen explained. "It's a bridge, between minds, between past and future. If we can unite with the Empire, we can heal what was broken." Back on the Aegis Dominator, the fleet watched anxiously as the battle's chaos gave way to an uneasy ceasefire. Messages from the boarding party were sparse, but hopeful. Ilara's voice came over the comms, calm yet resolute. "The war ends. Here, not with destruction, but with a choice. The true humans and the Empire must work together or both will fall to darkness." Her officers exchanged uncertain glances, the weight of the moment settling on them all. In the following days, fragile negotiations began. Representatives of the Empire and the true humans met under guarded circumstances, sharing histories, truths, and visions for the future. Emperor Soran, informed of the ceasefire and Ilara's actions, was reluctant but pragmatic. The Empire's centuries-old grip was slipping, and a new reality had arrived. "We will not abandon our people," he declared in a rare public broadcast. "But neither will we deny the evolution of humanity. It is time to build bridges, not walls." On the sanctuary planet, Kalen and Ilara stood side by side, watching a sunrise that bathed the alien landscape in hues of gold and violet. "This is just the beginning," Ilara said. Kalen nodded. "We have much to learn from each other. Together, we will shape a future where humanity's true strength is freedom, in all its forms." In the months that followed, the Empire transformed. Neural interface technology was adapted, not for control, but for connection and healing. The bioorganic advancements of the true humans blended with Imperial engineering, creating a new era of innovation. Old grudges softened, replaced by shared purpose. As the stars twinkled overhead, no longer distant sentinels but beacons of hope. Ilara and Kalen stood united. The galaxy had been shaken to its core. But from the ruins, a new dawn had risen. The end,